Hello, I'm Len Cannon in the KHOU 11 newsroom. We want to talk about a story that has been trending a lot digitally on our website and across our digital platforms. It is the great Dreadlock debate. Have you heard about this? A teenager, a senior at Barber Hill School District is being put on suspension because he refuses to cut his dreadlocks. The family says this is an issue of race. The school district is saying it has nothing to do with race. It is about school policy, about the length of the young man's hair. The young man's name is DeAndre Arnold, and by the way, he's gotten support from another DeAndre Hopkins of the Houston Texans, who is saying he supports him 100%. The student has told us he does not plan to cut his hair. And in fact, he said he's even thinking about moving to another school district with just weeks left to go in his senior year. So again, the policy says the hair cannot be a certain length. I wonder what some of you are thinking. Join us on our KHU11 Facebook page. We can get your comments. Should the district bend the rules to allow this kid to walk during graduation? Imagine if you have a kid that's graduating, you definitely want them to walk. Even though you know he's going to get a diploma, this suspension means he won't be able to walk. And that's part of the pomp and circumstance of leaving high school, isn't it? Is to participate in the graduation ceremony. So I'm wondering what some of you think. Should the school district stick to what it is saying? Or should this student, DeAndre Arnold, cut his hair per the policy? This has been talked about not only in Houston, but across the country. As I said, we did talk to DeAndre Arnold and his family, as well as the school superintendent. Take a listen.
The school board is just corrupt in the way it makes its decisions, and there's no diversity. There's no differing opinions, so one person says that, okay, they all go with it. There's no cultural knowledge or anything like that on the school board. We need a new school board. Honestly, the rule doesn't make any sense. It's sexist rule. Like, my hair has nothing to do with my excellence, as we say in Barber Hill. How smart I am, what job I'm gonna get. My hair doesn't determine that. I determine that from my character, and that's just how I see it.
So every school district in the nation has a dress code. I don't think you can go to school in your underwear. I'm not aware of it, and only your underwear. So really, every school has a dress code. The question is, how high are the standards? And so our standards and our expectations are high, and that is including in appearance. And so we have a dress code that's been here really since the beginning of the district, since 1929. There's always been a dress code. And the hair for males is to not be below the collar, to not be below the bottom of the ears, and not to be in the eyes.
All right, so that is the Barber Hill School Superintendent, Gary Poole, essentially saying he defends the policy. He said it wouldn't be fair to the hundreds of other kids who have to follow this policy, and then to make an exception for DeAndre Arnold. So that's why they are sticking to the policy, and they're saying DeAndre will not be able to walk during graduation, which will happen in June. DeAndre now saying with his family he may have to switch schools, and we're waiting to see if he does in fact do that, and where exactly would he go. So a lot of you have been reaching out to us on our Facebook page. Let's get to some of the comments. Christopher is saying, let me see here. Oh, Patricia Emmons says, don't cut your hair. Thanks for the comment, Patricia. Let's see. Jonathan Bowers, thank you for your comment. Jonathan saying his dreads look fine. The school needs to back off. Good comment there. And Josiah says, I swear I can't understand the rules in the school. I think the parents and DeAndre Arnold would agree with you on that. Let's see here. Tim Roth is watching. Thank you, Tim. Casey Johnson, if he pulls his hair up, then he's good, right? Apparently not. Apparently, DeAndre said that he did have his hair up. They made an adjustment to the school policy like a month ago, and they're saying if it's too long, even if you have it up, it's too long. So he does have to cut it, and that is the sticking point. Some people think, you know what, the kid, let him walk. Apparently he's a good student. He's a good kid, so, bend the rules here, make an exception in this case, and then toe the line after that. Let's see, who else says what? Mark Thornton makes a good point. He's had it all these years. He says, in 1975, we had the same rules as today, and I see kids with hair to their mid-back, so let him go. Let him go, as in, I guess, let him continue. Elizabeth Boyle, now this is a point that has come up in the story. Elizabeth Boyle said there needs to be people of color on the school board. Both the family and an activist that has been working with the family makes that very point. They say there's no diversity on the school board, therefore that translates into a lack of understanding about this kid and his cultural heritage that he wants to accommodate. They in turn are not accommodating him. The school district in turn says this has nothing to do with culture or race. It's about simply following the rules, and therefore we have this standstill where the kid is still on suspension. Jonathan Bowers asked the same question. He can't wear the dreads up? Apparently not. Kimberly Christie raises a point that I think is tough to talk about, but it's a good point. Why does everyone go straight to racism? It's an excellent point to make. Apparently the family feels it does have something to do with race. The activist that we talked to says, I don't think it, I know it. The family has said two things to us. One, they think it is race-related because of a lack of diversity, but two, they also believe it is sexist, pointing out to our Matt Doherty in an interview last night that DeAndre Arnold's hair is long. Girls wear long hair. They think that's sexist and it's a violation of his civil rights. The other question is, will they actually go to court and file a lawsuit like they've talked about, or will they simply change schools and get it over with? We'll have to wait and see what happens. Thank you, everybody. This has been a talker. Elizabeth Beard says there are more things to worry about in public school system than hair. That's an excellent point. Misty Kimmel, the school has always been this way. It's not a color thing. My nephew is white and they made him cut his long hair, bangs and all. Thank you for letting us know that. So there you go. You have people saying, hey, they're making all kids do it, no matter what color they are. Let me see here. Wait until the beginning of the new year. Mallory Nance, why couldn't they wait until the beginning of the new year to change the rule? That's a good point, because you're in the middle of the school year and you suddenly say, we're going to make this slight adjustment to the rule. Now it affects this kid who now may not walk graduation. So that's a good point. Maybe it's a question we should put to the superintendent, Gary Poole. Linda Horton, why did the school wait so long? Another good question, because they did have a policy in place, made the adjustment recently. Let me see here. If he has a religious belief, they can't force him to cut it. That's from Luna. Don't think it's related to religion at all. I just think they feel it's a cultural right for him to wear his hair that way. They follow the rules like everyone else. Kimberly says, looks like all the people commented follow the rules like everyone else. Probably isn't racist, it's equally enforced, but it's suspect if he's been growing dreads for several years and they're now only having a problem with it. That's a very good point, and people have made this point. So he's had the dreads the family says since 7th grade. The school district says, look, it's not really about the locks per se, it's about the length of the hair, but they did change the policy, alter it slightly after the new year. So that's a very good point. Houston. John Ward says, bigger problems in Houston than some boys' hair. A lot of people would agree with you. The only problem is if it's your family and if it's your kid and your kid can't walk because they're suspended because of their hair, that'd be hard for any family to deal with. And again, the family has said, we are not going to cut his hair. The same rules in place now. They were yes. So Danette Aguilar says the rules we signed in August aren't the same rules that are in place now. They were reworded over Christmas break. I'm assuming you're familiar with the Barber Hills School District. Thank you for the clarification. Mary Almendares says the superintendent refuses to address how hair length has anything to do with their tradition of excellence. DeAndre Arnold, the kid with the long hair, makes the very same point. That he's a good student, doesn't affect his ability in the classroom. We could go on and on, but the comments explain just how interested people are in this. We'll see how this plays out. There were rumors today, I must say, that DeAndre Arnold and his family, they were going to switch schools. They've hinted at it. And so we'll have to wait and see if they do that. If they switch schools, will they still file a lawsuit against the school district? All of that we'll have to wait and see. Coming up in just about under an hour, KHU 11 News at 10, myself along with Mia Gradney, we will be giving you a couple other big stories that have been trending today. The coronavirus, that's another major story. Today we found out that a student at Texas A&M is now being tested for possibly having the coronavirus because that student came from Wuhan, China, back to the United States. He was tested. We're still waiting on the results. That student is being held in quarantine, in effect, at his home, not allowed to leave. The CDC says they'll have the results of his testing, his or her testing, by the end of this week. And if they say it's a positive test, they are telling us, the CDC says, then they'll go back and trace the student's steps. Where did he fly into? Who did he come into contact with, et cetera, et cetera. But they're saying right now that his condition is good, improving, and he or she is in pretty good shape. That is encouraging. Only one other confirmed case in the United States, actually confirmed, this one not confirmed at Texas A&M so far, but it hits close to home, doesn't it? The confirmed case is up in Seattle, where a person also came from China, and they have tested positive for the coronavirus. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this. Also, a shocking case out of the west side of Houston. A music teacher at Memorial Elementary School is facing child pornography charges. It shocked his neighbors that we have talked to. You'll hear from them tonight at 10. There are federal charges, actually, and investigators say not only was this teacher viewing child porn online, but also sharing photos. So we'll have more details on that story, all coming up on KHU 11 News at 10. And of course, we'll be talking about the weather and any more breaking news. So me and I will see you at 10.